A few things have changed. I got a new fish. It is a neon dottyback, and I'm not sure if he'll come out so you can see him, but he is a mean fish, and there it is. It just went through. I should have done my research before I got one, and if you have a nano aquarium, I advise not to get one. It is aggressive, and it did okay for a week and then started to attack my little black assessor, which was very peaceful, and it just out of nowhere, it just decided one day after a week that it was gonna just go ahead and try to murder him. So I ended up getting the black assessor out easily because he was kind of exhausted. Luckily I caught him for about the 15 minutes he was attacking him, and I just kind of grabbed the assessor with my hand and took him to the fish store for refuge. And it just seems the case now is that I probably just cannot get any more fish, because whatever fish I do get is going to have to be a nano aquarium fish, and I'm pretty sure that dottyback will go ahead and either attack or try to kill that fish. And honestly, to get that dottyback out of here, I'd probably have to disassemble everything in this tank. I would have to put every piece of rock in a bucket to get that fish out, because it is like a cave fish. But yeah, do your research before you get fish. Another thing is everything is pretty much doing okay. It's hanging in. Corals seem to be still growing. Just started running into an issue. I cannot keep nitrates in this tank, no matter how much I feed. It might have something to do with the marine pure I have in the back, that I might just start taking a few of those balls out of the back chamber. But right now I'm just not going to mess with it. I started to dose a little bit of Seachem Flourish nitrogen, which converts into nitrate basically, and was putting about 2 mils of that a day for about 3 days, and started to get a pretty good outbreak of diatoms on the sand bed. As you can see here, they're kind of receding. It was a lot darker than that 2 days ago. But so far it's okay, since I just halted on that dosing of the nitrogen. And basically my bird's nests are losing color. This one here, which is supposed to be the green-tipped purple bird's nest, you can see it here. It's kind of purplish. That's it. Maybe purplish going into brownish if it keeps going at this rate. It was starting to come out in color, and it just stopped, and I moved it. It was starting to kind of brown out when it was over here, and I just moved it over here just to see what would happen. And this bird's nest here, the green one, was getting all that fluorescence, and it was looking so good, but you can see it kind of started to bleach out a little bit. Almost seems like bleaching out, and I'm gonna just leave all of those the way they are right now. Not much to do for them right now. I ran out of Bionic, the 2-part, and I went and got Seachem Fusion. I think I mentioned that maybe in the last video, and hooked it up to my dosing, and it went fine for a few weeks. And then the calcium started to smell really funny. It started to smell, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like a grapefruit tangy kind of smell. It was just kind of pungent a little bit. It didn't smell like sulfur. I don't think it didn't have any egg smell, but you know, calcium should not smell. So anything that starts smelling like that is probably a good idea to take it offline. So I did, and I also replaced these bottles here. They're kind of like these pump bottles off of Amazon, really cheap, and I just ripped the pump off of the top, so it just has a little port for the lines in there. But one thing that happened when I replaced the 2-part was back here in this holder, the dosing line holder right here, and I will show you. I shot a little video of what was happening, and it's something that you know, you got to keep an eye out for all these little things on these tanks. When you think it's running on autopilot, you got to check every once in a while. But the dosing line holder here try to focus this better. And you can see how I have it set up right now, where I just kind of mounted it just to wedge it and squeeze it right in the middle on these to lift it out of the water, because basically when it was mounted correctly on here and the tank was in the middle of here, the whole piece would slide in and go down a little bit lower, and when I would feed the fish I would turn the pumps off, and I really didn't think it was that big of an issue, but it became a big issue. The water would rise and it would hit the alkalinity line, and the alkalinity would kind of precipitate and kind of calcify and just block up the line, as you can see in the short little video that I took of it. Yeah, something to watch. And my DKH dropped from 8.5 to 7 DKH gradually with that issue happening. And that's it. You got to be careful for little things like that. And luckily, after a month, I was looking for aquaforest components, the alkalinity, calcium, and the magnesium, and I finally got some, and that is what is in the containers now, and I just got that today, and we're gonna see how that goes. I only have a 2-pump doser right now, so it's just doing the alkalinity, calcium, and the third part, the magnesium and whatever elements are in that. I'm kind of gonna just dose that by hand manually every couple of days and see how that goes. But so far everything's okay. The corals that are doing great are still doing great. Everything's still doing good. Torch corals are doing good. This coral did lose that head finally. It was just to be expected, but the 2 heads that are on here are pretty healthy. That coral back there is kind of closed up. I did feed the tank a little bit ago, and I think it caught a piece of food. Yeah, and so the GSP. The GSP started coming out pretty good too lately. It wasn't without the nitrates. You know, as soon as I started dosing the nitrates, this guy was all closed up and everything. But I started, and it's kind of closed up now because I just fed the tank like a little bit, 30 minutes to an hour ago. But it was closed up. There's absolutely no nitrates, and even my leather coral was hurting. Just the 0 nitrates at this tank just will not take nitrates. But when I started dosing, those corals did start to look a little better, but like I said, the diatom bloom was a little bit too much, so I discontinued that. And I'm not sure if the diatom bloom was related to that dosing, but most likely. But so I'm just going to leave everything gradually smooth. I'm just going to dose the aquaforest. I'll probably do a water change this weekend, which is ahead of schedule because I try to do it once a month now, but seeing as there was a problem with the calcium, the C-Chem Fusion calcium, I'm going to go ahead and do a water change and just gradually just maintain it on a course of the aquaforest, and that's it. So yeah, that was a little short update here, and I will continue to document what happens with the aquaforest 3-part. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.